Hello and welcome to DI, your English news bulletin. I'm Esther. These are the headlines. The death of a 68-year-old man due to anaphylaxis has been confirmed as the first fatality in India after taking the COVID-19 vaccine. An FIR has been registered at Mumbai's Megawadi police station, Powai, against 3 men for allegedly raping a female assistant police inspector. Dimapur authorities have confiscated alleged fake rice from a storehouse in Dimapur after a video went viral of a person claiming the rice to be plastic. Now for the news in details. Officials of the Dimapur District Administration, Food and Civil Supply Department and the police have confiscated food grains that a viral video on social media purportedly shows fake rice among rice grains at a storehouse on June 15, Tuesday at Nahabari in Dimapur. A viral video uploaded by an unidentified person purports to show bits of white materials which the video's owner claimed was duplicate rice mixed with the actual rice at a store in Nahabari. When the matter reached the authorities, the district administration and said officials besides the village councils and youths approached the store MS Arihant Industries, Nahabari, go down to examine the rice grains. The authorities took samples of the grains to see if they are genuine or fake. The authorities have shut the storehouse and more details are being awaited at the time of this news report being filed. The family of Ziongaka, also known as Ziona, the patriarch of what is believed to be the world's largest family, has refused to perform his last rites, claiming he is still very much alive. Ziona, who was suffering from hypertension and diabetes, was on Sunday declared dead by doctors at Trinity Hospital in Aizawl.
The family members, however, insisted that his body was warm and his pulse still beating. The 76-year-old, who lived in sprawling 4-story home in Paktaung village with 39 wives, over 90 children and at least 33 grandchildren, headed a religious sect, Lalpa Korantar. The sect secretary, Zaitang Huma, claimed that Zion regained pulse speed after he was brought home from the hospital. His body is still warm. His family members and people of Chotar in Paktuang village can't bury him under such circumstances, he said on Monday. Zion A was the head of Chanapol, a minor Christian sect formed in 1942 in Mizoram by his father. The sect follows the practice of polygamy. Born in 1945, Zion A married his first wife, who was 3 years older than him, at the age of 17. He married his last wife in 2004. All of them hold a septuagenarian in high regard and would not want to perform his last rites until they are convinced that he is gone. Chontard Village Council President Ramzoawa said. He added that more than 2,500 members belonging to 433 families are part of the sect. Chief Minister Zoram Thanga, State Congress President Lal Tanhalwa and Zoram People Movement leader Lal Tuhoma, among others, mourned Zion's demise. His 4-story mansion at Paktuang is a major tourist attraction. His family was featured twice by Ripley's Believe It or Not in 2011 and 2013.
Authorities have created the longest green corridor in the northeast from Silchar to Guwahati to shift a 71-year-old patient for advanced treatment.
The ambulance carrying the woman started its journey at 6:30 a.m. and is expected to cover the distance in 8 hours instead of the usual 10 to 11 hours. 4 police vehicles escorted the ambulance up to Meghalaya border. The Meghalaya police are to offer the same support before it re-enters Kamrup in Assam en route to Guwahati. Officials said this was the longest green corridor being provided for a medical emergency in the northeast. The patient was admitted to Silchar Hospital on May 25th and suffers from pneumonia. She is also diabetic and has a history of hypertension, said Dr. Amit Kulawar, who was treating her. Considering her condition, the woman's family decided to shift the patient from Silchar to Guwahati after consulting some senior doctors, he said. The patient's son, who requested the district administration for the green corridor, said doctors told them she was not fit to fly and hence they were taking her to Guwahati by road. Kachar Police Superintendent Vaibhav Chandrakant Nimbalkar said he has spoken to his counterparts in Meghalaya and requested them to facilitate the smooth passage of the ambulance. Our team has escorted the ambulance and cleared the roads till the Meghalaya border. From there, the officials of the neighbouring states are coordinating. After crossing Meghalaya, they will reach Kamrup Metropolitan District. This is the third green corridor provided by Qatar administration within a month and the fourth overall. Last year, a 33-year-old man was airlifted from Silchar to Kolkata after testing positive for COVID-19, but he was declared dead on arrival there. This month, a 68-year-old man with post-COVID complications was moved to Silchar Airport through a green corridor, but an air ambulance could not fly him due to his condition. The patient was taken back to Silchar Hospital and he died within an hour. Another patient was airlifted from Silchar to Guwahati on June 5th and a green corridor was provided for that as well. A green corridor for a medical emergency was created for the first time in Assam in 2017 to shift a critically ill 4-month-old boy to Guwahati Airport. An air ambulance then flew the boy and his parents to New Delhi for advanced treatment.
Considering the difficulties being faced by people of far-flung areas of Tengnoupal district during the pandemic, former BJP Lok Sabha candidate and state BJP spokesperson H.S. Benjamin Mate handed over relief materials that included rice and potatoes for 22 villages of Machi block and Sita village of Tengnoupal district.
The relief materials were distributed in the presence of Machi Block Village Chief Associations and Students Organization leaders at Tengnoupal village. The village chiefs and leaders lauded Mate for his services to the villagers living in the most far-flung and remote areas of Manipur during the pandemic. The villagers are said to have informed Mate that their local MLA abandoned them even during the first wave of COVID-19 pandemic. Mate personally came to their villages bringing relief items to help. His contribution to the people of Tengnoupal district is being much appreciated.
Welcome back to more news. Moving further, the death of a 68-year-old man due to anaphylaxis has been confirmed as the first fatality in India after taking the COVID-19 vaccine. According to reports, the 68-year-old had taken the vaccine in March and died of anaphylaxis as a result of serious adverse events following immunization or AEFI.
The AEFI committee headed by Dr. N.K. Arora also found that between February and March 28, people died after getting a dose during the period, but most appeared not to have been linked, while the cause could not be determined in at least 9 of them. The committee also said that 3 cases were found to be vaccine product related. As per the government data, there have been 26,000 cases of adverse events following COVID vaccination and 488 deaths linked to post-COVID complications between January 16 and June 7. In the same period, 23.5 crore doses were administered in the country.
Delhi hotels and restaurants haven't yet been allowed to serve liquor through the capital city, though the capital city has opened up after 8 weeks of lockdown this Monday. Liquor shops in the city would function all days of the week, but bars will remain closed, the government said in an order.
Bars in the hotels, clubs and restaurants are not allowed to open till further orders, stated a clarification issued by the Excise Department of Delhi government on Monday. Last week, the Delhi Disaster Management Authority allowed shops and markets, including those selling liquor, to operate on alternate days and on odd and even basis, depending on shop number. This week, DDMA allowed shops to operate the entire week from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Under the current orders, liquor stores in the city are allowed to remain open all day till 8 p.m. This week, the DDMA also allowed restaurants to open their dine-in spaces at 50% capacity. However, its current orders prohibits bars from opening, which essentially means that hotels and restaurants cannot serve liquor to their clients.
Over 900 central government employees died from March to May, up from the 600 during the same period last year, officials aware of the matter said. The deaths coincided with the second COVID-19 wave, which overwhelmed the country.
Unclear whether all these deaths were because of pandemic. An official said in nearly all of the central ministries, at least 20 to 30% of the people were affected by the pandemic. In April, the Department of Personnel and Training was one of the worst hit by COVID-19, with nearly 80 officials testing positive for the disease. The Ministry of Information Technology was forced to ask most of its officials to work from home for 2 weeks, as many of them contracted the disease. Officials said nearly 50% of the Agriculture Ministry staff contracted COVID-19. G. Narayana Raju, the Secretary of the Legislative Department, Ministry of Law and Justice, was among those who died of COVID-19 in May. Dayawanti Srivastava, Sanjay Kumar Srivastava and Pushpavan Sharma from the Indian Information Services also succumbed to the disease. According to a second official, 73 people working at the Central Secretariat died of COVID-19. There's a lot of congestion in certain sections. If one person gets the infection, it travels very quickly, the officials said. The officials try to maintain social distancing and wear masks, but even then, many have contracted the virus. Overcrowding is a major reason for the spread of this highly communicable disease. The officials added people across the department also realized the urgency of the work, which prompted them to attend office. Even I contracted COVID, but the work is such that we must attend office, the officials said. There are nearly 150 officials associated with the Central Secretariat who are still positive. Moreover, it is not just us but even our family members who have suffered because of this.
After a fresh tussle over the centre over new IT rules, Twitter has now been summoned by the Parliamentary Standing Committee for Information and Technology.
The Parliamentary Standing Committee on Information and Technology has called on Twitter to appear before the panel in Parliament Complex on June 18 at 4 p.m. and give representation on how to prevent misuse of social media and online news. To hear the views of representatives of Twitter, followed by evidence of representatives electronics technologies safeguarding citizens' rights and prevention of misuse of social or online news media platforms, including special emphasis on women's security in the digital space. Parliamentary panel agenda read. Recently, the Centre gave final notice to Twitter for compliance with new IT rules. It is noted that despite repeated letters from the ministry, Twitter had failed to provide adequate clarifications. Rakesh Maheshwari, Group Coordinator of Cyber Law at the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, in a letter to Twitter. Meanwhile, after repeated letters and communications from the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology on the new IT rules, Twitter has assured to comply with the new rules.
The Supreme Court on Tuesday directed the closure of criminal proceedings in India against 2 Italian Marines accused of killing 2 fishermen off the Kerala coast in February 2012.
A vacation bench of Justices Indira Banerjee and M.R. Shah quashed the FIR and proceedings emanating from the case against the 2 Italian Marines. The bench said that as per the International Arbitral Award accepted by India, the Republic of Italy shall resume further investigation in the case. The top court termed the ₹10 crore compensation paid by the Republic of Italy over and above the payment already made as reasonable and adequate. It said that out of ₹10 crore compensation, ₹4 crore each shall be deposited in the name of heirs of 2 deceased Kerala fishermen and 2 crore shall be given to the owner of the boat. February 2012, India had accused the 2 Marines on board the MV Enrica Lexi, an Italian-flagged oil tanker, of killing 2 Indian fishermen who were on fishing vessels in India's exclusive economic zone.
The National Investigation Agency arrested 2 more accused in connection with the recovery of an explosives-laden SUV outside industrialist Mukesh Ambani's residence in Mumbai. The accused, identified as Santosh Seller and Anand Yadav, have been sent to NIA custody till June 21st. A total of 4 policemen, including the 3 officers and Police Constable Vinayak Shinde, have been dismissed from service so far in connection with the Ambani security scare case. Welcome back to more news. An FIR has been registered at Mumbai's Megwadi police station, Powai, against 3 men for allegedly raping a female assistant police inspector.
In a statement issued on Monday, police said the main accused raped the female assistant police inspector on the pretext of marriage and recorded the act to blackmail her. A police statement said that the main accused hails from Aurangabad. He came in contact with the woman cop through a social networking site and they developed a relationship. The police said the accused came to the Powai area in Mumbai to meet the victim and promised to marry her, the statement said. The accused then allegedly captured their intimate moments between them in a video and later started harassing and blackmailing her along with his 2 friends, the police statement said. According to police, on the complaint of the woman cop, an FIR was registered at Megawati Police Station in Mumbai on June 11 under various sections of the Indian Penal Code and the IT Act. The case has been transferred to Powai police station under zero FIR. No arrest has been made in this case yet, police added.
In a first, the Indian Army has opened vacancies for Nepali women in the corps of military police. The announcement comes at a time when there are calls to abrogate the recruitment of Nepali youths in the Indian Army. The Army says that it wants to continue the recruitment of Nepali youths, both male and female, in a bid to widen the scope for the youngsters.
The Indian Embassy in Kathmandu has released an announcement calling for eligible Nepali females to submit their application through the online. The announcement has set a certain criteria but has also given some relaxation to the children of whose parents died during service in the Indian Army. As per the criteria, those who have passed class 10, aged between 16 to 21 years, or those who were born between October 1st, 2000 to between April 1st, 2004 and height above 152 centimeters can apply. The deadline for submitting application is July 20. To categorize as Veer Nari are eligible to apply up to 30 years, according to the notice. Those who fulfill the criteria will go for further selection process in Ambal, Lucknow, Jabalpur, Pune, Belgaum and Shillong. The kids of former Indian Army recruits Veer Nari and whose fathers were killed while on duty will get waived in weight and grace marks of 20 in the written examination. As per the treaty between Nepal and India, there is a separate Gorkha regiment in India Army, and over lakhs of Nepali nationals have served in various positions in the Indian Army and retired. The recruitment of Nepali youths began in 1816 during the rule of East India Company. Over 32,000 Nepali nationals are currently serving in the Indian Army at various capacities in 7 Gorkha rifle regiments: 1st, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 8th, 9th and 11th, each of which have 5 to 6 battalions, around 800 soldiers each.
The Telangana government has decided to cancel the Class 12 exam for the academic year 2020-21 and promote all Class 11 students to Class 12.
The state government has further said that Class 12 results will be declared on the basis of predetermined objective criteria. The Secretary of Board of Intermediate Examination has been directed to issue orders for promoting all Class 11 students to Class 12. The Class 11 students will now be eligible to attend classes. The government has, however, announced the Class 11 exams will be conducted sooner or later and the students will have to appear for these exams. Considering the present pandemic situation prevailing in the state, government hereby decides to cancel Class 12 Intermediate Public Examination for academic year 2020 to 2021, the government of Telangana said in its order dated June 14. Results to be declared on basis of predetermined objective criteria, it stated. The Secretary Board of Intermediate Examination is directed to issue orders for promoting all Class 11 students to Class 12, the government of Telangana said.
Bihar exported the first 1-ton consignment of geographical indication certified Jardalu mangoes from Bhagalpur to London on Monday, with State Agriculture Minister Amarendra Pratap Singh virtually flagging it off.
GI relates to a specific geographical origin of a product and certifies that it possesses qualities or reputation due to that. The mangoes were packed in Lucknow before the Agriculture and Processed Food Products Export Development Authority exported them in collaboration with the Bihar government, the Indian High Commission in London and in West India. Singh said, Jardalu mangoes are mainly grown in Barakpur and parts of some neighboring districts. He added these mangoes are grown over 1,200 hectares of orchards in Bhagalpur. Banka and Munger jointly produce these mangoes over 700 hectares land. The annual production of these mangoes is 10,000 metric tons. He added these mangoes have been shelf life and flavor. The mangoes fetched GI tag in 2018 due to their exceptional quality. In May, Bihar exported 1 ton of Muzaffur's GI tag Shahi Lichi to London. And Sarvana Kumar, Bihar's Agriculture Department Secretary, said they are working to formulate a policy to boost the export of GI products. We are also setting up labs approved by the National Accreditation Board for testing and calibration laboratories at 2 agriculture universities for quality check of goods before export.
A 30-year-old man got into a heated argument about masks on Monday with a cashier at a supermarket in Georgia, Atlanta, returned with a handgun and shot her dead, police confirmed.
The suspect Victor Lee Tucker, 30, will likely face murder charges, the DeKalb County Sheriff Melody Maddox told reporters. The officer and cashier were not immediately identified. A second grocery store employee who was grazed by a bullet also was not identified. The shooting occurred at the Big Bear supermarket in DeKalb County, southeast of Atlanta, around 1 p.m., the Georgia Bureau of Investigation said in a statement. Tucker was checking out when the argument occurred, the statement said. He left without making his purchase, then immediately returned with a handgun and allegedly shot the cashier, the agency said. She was pronounced dead at a local hospital. The deputy, a 30-year veteran of the DeKalb County Police Department and a reserve officer with Sheriff's Office, who was working at the supermarket, then fired at Tucker, Maddox said. Tucker allegedly returned fire, striking the deputy twice, Maddox said. The officer was in stable condition at a local hospital. Two responding officers arrested Tucker while attempting to crawl out of the supermarket's front door, the agency said. He was taken to a local hospital and is in stable condition.
That's all for tonight's English News Bulletin. Do subscribe to our channel and also follow Hornbill TV Official on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube and Instagram, and keep watching Hornbill TV.